SMART24, driving business.
We'll be back from the short commercial break, and we are still discussing supplies. Well, we're still saying that in case goods are destroyed, all you're given what you don't want, do you take them back or?
See, the suppliers have instructions.
Receipts with goods were sold.
That's a motto of their business.
Yes.
So please, darling, as you're doing these things, just be
Be clean, be conscious.
Kati what if mnange nga teri agenda bigula nga capital agenda fa 150k like you said earlier.
Let me ask you guys. Let's say I'm starting make a small business of eggs. Let's say I want to start frying eggs for people. So I order from this supplier, and they send the eggs, and they use their delivery guy, and then the delivery guy maybe breaks the eggs on their way. That would be their
So
problem.
who is replacing the eggs?
Them.
Are you sure?
Then you should have an understanding. You get.
Then they should.
In case goods get spoiled, who is going to make the losses?
Maybe both. I feel like it should be both.
Manya molded bread.
Oh, good.
Whose problem is it? It is
Not
their
mine.
problem. So
Yeah.
if you're selling us eggs, let the delivery guy be very serious with himself. The eggs are nice. How do you play with eggs? It's a two-way thing, but
That is when an
they are
agreement
possible
comes in.
things.
Yeah.
That is, and it's called a default agreement. In case anything happens, will you just take up the losses, or maybe you'll be compensated?
But
Do
just
people
obvious.
consider
You
those
get.
things?
Let me tell you, Martha. Let me tell you, this is politics. This is I don't know how to call it. It's the waters are rough when it comes to entrepreneurship. Even when a person knows that could be, you get. They don't care.
Imagine you're going to
Imagine
imagine you're delivering something, and as you're delivering, for example, you fall like accident really happens, everything is destroyed.
Yeah.
So here the one who is buying the things, will actually call the person who is the supplier. Where are they? Then he or she tells me, had an accident. That's when we come and talk. I explain to you, I got an accident. You also tell me I want my food. What should we do? Should I now buy them at half price?
there.
Or should we do that one? I think they're going to resend me, because first of all, it wasn't my time. My customers have gone to another place.
Okay.
So that's the default agreement comes in, but it has to have nice, terms.
For both of
I
you,
think an agreement is a very crucial thing when it comes to
supplies,
supplier
in
that-
case, in case
of
things
anything.
happen, because these things are to happen.
Example we gave of the baking thing.
Yeah.
You see the supplier, there's a slight mistake when they're mixing. First of all,
Yeah, in the additives.
yes, what if they do something about them? Agree and tell them, because if for example it's liquid soap, if I'm making pink color and something happens, it won't actually be nice liquid soap.
Yeah.
Supplier caused a mistake, and he or she doesn't know which exact additive should go in how many cups and everything.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the problem comes when the agreement is being made, but one of you is big-headed.
Me, what I think is, to be sharp. Instead of you using the delivery guy for eggs, go
By
so
the way,
that
makes
in case
sense.
they break, it's on you.
Do you know there's that satisfaction you get when you destroy your own thing? Now let someone take it and destroy it.
Okay, it's not satisfaction.
It's not satisfaction.
Like,
but you won't kill yourself, Martha. You won't treat
you'll be
yourself,
like, it's
then
on me.
You'd be like, this
But when
just
someone has
happened.
done something,
If someone's balls, because they're not going to pay.
Now that's where a problem comes in. Those are
yeah,
the kind
because
of
because
suppliers
what
they're
if
talking
on
about,
that day, the supplier is a villain.
Bad supplier.
Yes.
If the supplier is a villain, even when they know that they're in wrong, and they're supposed to compensate you, just like I've said, people are not nice and people are not as good, Niye kazana gamba, we're not compensating.
When it's your loss, you count your loss. Like,
You get
just
so you get the things yourself.
Yeah.
Leave delivery people out of this game.
Yeah.
Just
True.
have to be good.
And I even down
It really hurts me.
for this case.
How do I pay back? No.
True.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, sometimes you decide who does the transport. I might have my man, my
Yeah.
delivery guy. Sorry, came out wrong. My delivery guy will come and pick,
Yeah.
or you might have yours. But most times, these suppliers be like, and you pay my border guy when he comes. And those border guys play on now. Where they do funny
No,
things.
you guys, even the roads are very bad.
Yeah.
Look at the roads we have.
But Kampala is developing.
No, we're not talking about Kampala only, people. This show is covering everyone, right?
Everyone.
Yeah, the roads that are bad. I'm coming with my eggs, and perhaps, I'm trying to hit the speed bumps and all these things, and I make an accident. You get. Most importantly, to cut the losses and the time wasting, just make sure the agreement is there. In case anything happens, you don't waste time at, please, crying and, the capital at,
Women are dramatic.
Yeah.
girls. So what you do, just make sure that this person is going to compensate you. If they're not going to compensate you, please walk out of that supply. Like the supply, I'm like, get another one who will be genuine. I love this young entrepreneur. No, like the business will end. You get, honestly, do you know that most times people are going to stop doing something just because of this one incident? As they are trying, they've put their business plan, capital has been gotten, they're trying to stock their business, everything, and then you refuse to compensate when your delivery person makes a mistake. You get, they'll end it there. You've killed their soul,
We are still at Caravan Turkish Restaurant here at Centenary Park. So we're still discussing about the policies of suppliers. Let us share some tips of having good suppliers.
The supplier must, besides the honesty and everything, he or she must be there for you in all terms. And also, you have to have a particular agreement on something.
Yeah, in case of anything.
Which happened in business, they should be taken.
Build a strong relationship with your supplier.
But since they are humans, they will only be there for you if you treat them properly.
Yeah.
If you keep a good relationship.
How do you keep a good relationship with your
Yes,
supplier?
how do you keep a good relationship?
Pay them on time.
Yeah.
Money is a big thing in this case. Those guys get pissed with time, but just give them their money.
People are bad.
Communicate,
Someone delivers, you switch off your phone.
I know.
They call you.
You make a deal, you paid your half, they deliver, you're not sending
They call
the money
you.
back. Yeah.
You're not paying. And then when the goods are done, that's when you remember to tell this person I need. And then when you pay them halfway, you're paying them late.
And then
Yeah.
to supply for
You're
Someone
rude.
wouldn't trust you once again.
So
as you're doing those supply as you're doing those supply deals with those guys, just be honest. Just tell
Yeah.
them, I bring in this in my business. So I understand if I have
and
this
yeah, be honest. And sometimes be honest. Muntu amugamba, what, sina sente.
Yeah,
You get
things are not
sina
going on
sente
well.
mpa wentunda nja kudiza. Yeah. But anyway, what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that the moment you're honest, and when you say I'm going to do something, do it. Don't be someone who will say I'm going to buy because nowadays we don't use cash. You get, it's more of mobile money.
Yeah.
You get, you're saying I'm sending money at exactly 9. Let it be 9. Don't let it be 9:30. You don't know what this person is going to use that money for. You
Yeah.
get,
people
yeah.
needing the money at 9.
Yeah. So be a person of your word.
Yeah.
Communicate well. Don't be rude. Don't be someone supplier
Yeah,
kugambye
by the
chino.
creating a relationship with your
Nebwe nokola
supplier,
omuto
be,
munene.
be communicate in a nice way, be sweet. to
Yeah,
those
be
people.
sweet, but at the same time know what you want. Because I tell you, if you let them, they'll step on you. They'll
Underlook you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Be tough and nice at the same time.
Just put your business as priority.
Yeah.
Money.
ice and fire.
True.
Well,
Supply is playing. Also, just tell them, I want my money.
yeah.
So as we keep up with the loan, we also have to bring in our expert analysis to give us their view about this topic. This helps us to learn more and know what is trending the other side. So they are going to have our expert taking us and telling us more about the suppliers in the business.
I am Brian Mangeni, and I'm the CEO of Einstein Rising, and also East African manager for an investment group called Entrepreneurs for Entrepreneurs. So a youth who's getting into business needs, first of all, to do enough research into whatever they're getting into. So whether it's a good or service, you will find that there are reliable suppliers who you can use. Most people rely on just doing a Google search on the internet and then going with that, but it requires going down on the ground and actually visiting people, seeing what they have, getting samples of what they have, so that you test it out and you make sure that what you're going to purchase is actually of the quality that you want to have. Then it's very paramount that you actually interact with the potential suppliers that you have on your list, as the personal relationship between you and your supplier might actually go a long way in determining if your business survives. because things like getting supplies on credit will only be possible if that personal relationship between you and the supplier, actually there has to be chemistry. There has to be chemistry so that you can build trust. Yeah. So for sourcing the suppliers, that is what I would point to. But depending on the items or services you're looking for, it pays to also contract a supplier who has a very good official standing. In other words, they are registered, they are certified, they have a registered address where you can always find them. They have policies in place such that you can return something that is defective, or they have discounts that they offer if you're taking in bulk. All those play a role, and they can only be found out when you actually go on the ground and interact with these people and find out the nitty-gritties. I think the last time that I talked to someone who is an authority on these things, I was informed that there are over 27 exhibitions that happen in Uganda. Yeah. Ranging, because let's say you've talked about the UMA exhibition, which is the biggest, of course. There is the agriculture show that always happens. There is the bridal expo that always happens. There is another one that is all about climate smart technologies and things like that always happens. There is one for energy that always happens, mainly renewable energy, cook stoves, gas, solar. It always happens. So there are a bunch of them, but you can only find out. I actually, I would think that someone needs to do a better job of publicizing them, exactly how many exhibitions there are, but there are a lot of them. And I believe that they are actually a very good source of suppliers, because at exhibitions you get people who are eager to talk to you, tell you about what they have to offer, and you have at least some time to interact normally with a person who is a bit high up in the organization. I've even seen owners of companies making time to be there for the exhibition so that they can get as much business as possible. And yeah, normally they have the samples of whatever they are supplying available at the exhibition. So it makes it a very fertile ground to identify good suppliers. Uh, of course, I would say honesty is the first quality that you have to look out for, because sometimes you actually know at least the price range of something. So you know when someone is trying to exploit you by offering you a very high price. You also know if someone's quality of goods is very low, even from just the price that they are offering. But then it's good if they can be honest enough to tell you, this is actually a Chinese product, that is why it is this low. So if they're not able to tell you that and they're still trying to charge you the price of, normally we hear of Turkey, goods from Turkey, goods from Malaysia, goods from India is sometimes better than China, sometimes not. Goods from Europe. So if they're honest enough to tell you about the quality of their goods, where they are from, and give you a fair price according to that. Sometimes you're not able to know the fair price, of course, when you're at the beginning of business, but if you move around to enough suppliers, you will get the range. You will automatically get the range. The other thing that I would point to is someone who's actually willing to be flexible. Normally, yes, there are suppliers who you will go to and they will tell you, we only sell in batches of 10,000 pieces of something. But if they really want to build a relationship and they can listen to you, especially as a youth, you're starting out a business and you probably can't afford to buy in such bulk. But if they're willing to listen to you and give you a chance and actually adjust their terms and conditions to accommodate you, then that is probably a supplier that you should stick with. Suppliers who are able to offer goods or services on credit are a big plus, but also them, you have to understand why let's say at the beginning of the business relationship, they're not willing, since they don't know you, you don't know them, so they actually have no confidence that you'll be able to pay whatever they supply you on credit. But it's a very good sign if they show you that probably if we do 5 deals, then we can talk about giving you something on credit. So at least if they show you an indication that credit is a possibility in the future, that is a very good supplier. Of course, suppliers who have verifiable quality of their products. In other words, if the product is from Italy, you're buying clothes and you're going to resell them, and they can actually show you that these goods were actually shipped from Italy, and not give you a long story of why they can't actually provide you with evidence of what they're saying. So it's always good to have that evidence, so that you can also go and sell with the confidence that what you're selling is an original. Yeah, just like I mentioned before, verifiable address, registered with the government. It always gives that extra confidence that you can, if this person is actually doing something crooked, you can actually report them and they can trace them, and yeah, something can be done. You can probably get justice for yourself. So that is also very important. As a former youth, but at least I began my journey in business while I was a youth. I can say that showing inexperience is, of course, a negative completely in business, because yeah, people will always take advantage of you. But the key to kicking off a relationship well is to first go with an inquiry and receive as much information as possible without asking too many questions. Collect your inquiries from different places and always tell people that you will come back. After getting all the inquiries, go sit down. Whether you're consulting someone else, whether you're now going to Google and checking out things, get more information, educate yourself about it, and then come back to the supplier when you're actually much more knowledgeable. And you're able to tell them, probably, yeah, your price is too high for this. I know, and you can able to ask questions that show that you know what you're talking about. For example, I remember when we were younger in school, and we knew that a Nike sneaker has 5 or 6 logos on it. So if you want to know an original Nike, you have to look for all the logos in order to tell that it's actually an original. By the time you go back to him and you tell him, no, you told me that this is an original, but it actually has 3 logos instead of 5, then he knows that you know, and then he'll be able to treat you different. So then you can tell him, I don't mind that it's Chinese, but you can't charge me the same price like I would get for an original, because now you've got the education and you know better. But if you go once and you want to do everything once, trust me, an experienced supplier will then be able to tell that this person does not know what they're talking about, and they'll be able to squeeze you in any way possible.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is one of the tips. The second tip would be a bit more of fake it until you make it when it comes to dealing with the suppliers. Come in with the confidence that, yeah, be bold. Don't show, even if you don't know something, don't show surprise. Don't show emotion of, yeah, I'm so impressed by this. Keep it calm, keep a poker face on throughout the interaction, so that he doesn't know what to expect from you. He doesn't know what he's dealing with. Normally, for me, even to this day, it always pays to first do an inquiry online or over the phone. Do inquiries in several places over the phone or online, yes. And then always go, even for the first meeting, when you have, let's say, 50% of the information. Even if you even call that very same supplier who you're going to visit, and you first get his information over the phone. Then you go when you've got from 10 other places. Always when you're identifying the supplier and when you're building the relationship with the supplier, it's very important to minimize the risk on your side as much as possible. I know they say that a good negotiation is where both sides live a bit unhappy but also a bit happy. So when you're trying to negotiate the deal, make sure that you try to get as much as possible out of it as as you can, but mostly from the angle of minimizing the risk to you. Uh, just a very good example that we have already been talking about. If you're going to do a business of dealing in eggs, and then you have to go and pick the eggs from the supplier, it puts you at a very huge disadvantage, because then the risk of something happening en route from the supplier's place to either your retail place or to the client is much, much higher than if you tell him, please add some money for delivery, but already deliver to my place. Of course, it always depends on the item that you're dealing with. Now, eggs are very sensitive, so this is much better. But if you're dealing with something like cement, well, go ahead and pick the goods yourself, because most likely the supplier will charge you more for transport, and yet there is no risk reduction in you transporting them yourself. So that is a very, very important factor to consider while inking the deal. So then we come to the relationship between you and the supplier. The relationship between an entrepreneur and their supplier is, you should always relate it to the relationship in any other part of life, like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. It's the little things that count the most. Things like, we always feel good when some of our clients, some of our suppliers, actually give us some tokens at the end of the year, to whether it's a calendar, whether it's pens, whether it's diaries, with their logos, for them to market themselves, but at the same time, it makes us feel good to just receive something that shows that they value us as one of their suppliers or one of their clients. So the small things that you can do, you can do a lot of small things that would make them feel special. That's number one. Number two is honesty and transparency, especially if they're offering you something like credit. It's very important to tell the supplier, this time round I have faced this kind of challenge, I might not be able to pay you on time. Rather than you waiting and they start making phone calls, you start ducking their phone calls, block them on WhatsApp. You disappear, you're nowhere to be found, and yet you're trying to build this business relationship. Again, just like any other relationship in our lives, communication is so important. There is no way that a supplier will actually, because the next time that you come for goods from him on credit, he'll probably pass up and tell you, I want everything up front, because you have proved that you're not that reliable. The other thing is to recommend business to the suppliers. That always gets a lot of goodwill. The more people that you're able to bring to the table, I know that people look at it as business is always competition. But if you have a friend, you have a boutique in the center of town, your friend has a boutique in Tinder, they're probably not your competition. They could be, since we are in an online society where everyone's business is online. So online, probably you're competing with each other, but in terms of physical space, you're probably not. So why not recommend them to go to a supplier who you trust and tell them that you're the one who has recommended them, so that they can, you can get the credit. Fortunately or unfortunately, blowing your own trumpet in this world is not a bad thing. So the more that the supplier keeps on hearing that you sent him business, the better he feels, the more he's able to offer to you. So that, I think those 3 tips for today can help a lot. So yeah, just in conclusion, I would like to encourage all the youth out there who want to get into business. Number 1, it is the bravest thing that you'll ever do in your life, at least I believe, apart from childbearing. I look at a business always like a child, because you give birth to it when it's so vulnerable, so prone to all kinds of problems hitting it, and you have to protect it, you have to nurture it, you have to grow it, and then you have to watch it then get out of your hands. You have to give it that independence for it to become an entity of its own. Then you will see it graduate. Hopefully, we're not raising dictators, so you'll be able to actually hand over the reins of being CEO when you've actually grown this enterprise to a very high level. So I still maintain it is the bravest thing other than childbirth that you'll ever embark on. Don't be discouraged by all the pitfalls that you will find, because, again, akin to childbirth, akin to raising a child, you cannot give up on your child just because they've got poor grades in school. You will not give up on them just because they're taking long to walk. You will not give up on them just because they're taking long to talk. Same thing with a business. You cannot give up on it just because things are taking long, just because you face some challenges. So I encourage you, keep in the trenches with the fight. It is possible. It is. We are trying as much as possible to get stories out there of people who have succeeded, so that you can all be encouraged. So stick in there. Stick in there. There is nothing as sweet as enjoying the profits from your business. So one day you will get there.
We've heard all the things from the expert. It has been a very good learning experience for all of us. And as you keep watching the launch and SMART24 TV, where we drive business, that is channel 372 on DSTV and 394 on GoTV, you will learn this. You will keep up, and every episode adds up to the business person. Yes, as we keep on watching, we keep on learning, we keep on asking something. If you have something you want to ask us, post on our social media platforms, we'll get back to you in any form you want.
What do you want us to talk about? What do you want us to discuss?
Yes.
And how best do you think we can deliver to you that show? Please always reach us out at SMART24 TV on all social media platforms, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. And I hope that you'll always keep up. It's always 10 a.m. every Saturday. Repeat is on 10 a.m. Sunday. My name is Samari. Enjoy the weekend.
I'm Martha, and this has been the launch. Every Saturday we are live on DSTV, that is channel 372, and GoTV 394. It's always the launch, and we are driving business.
We've been at Caravan Turkish Restaurant here at St. Mary Park. Feel free to pass by for your good meals over the weekends, anytime you feel like. Feel free to comment, share, like on our social media platform. I am Bronya. Until next time, bye.
SMART24